Check out the top 12 fresh mobile gacha RPGs and newly updated AFK Idle games. Discover the best release for Android and iOS that let you collect cool heroes, level up automatically and power up through awesome rewards effortlessly anytime today. Top 12 New Gacha Games RPG for mobile. New update AFK Games IDLE RPG for Android and iOS. We have a new Facebook fans page now. The name is GameMobile HDgraphic. Besides on YouTube, we will give an update on Facebook as well. A lot of amazing top list games will show up every day, so please check this out now. The link on the description and pinned comment. Longsword. This game is set on a story of a legend that we call with Arthur. With an Excalibur sword within a mythology series, the world is in chaos because a lot of darkness monsters coming up and attacking the world. And our main goal is to find out the lost sword, which is the original name of the game's title. It has a side perspective visual where the hero will keep move forward to kill and face the enemy. It has a fast-paced combat action and all of the characters will do an auto attack with a dynamic combat look. We can tap the autoplay battle for an idle gameplay. It has a skill synergy and a combo system to combine the elements. Depending on the character's role style with the chain combo, it will significantly increase the damage number. With an anime character, it will make the visual and the skill effects seem so special. They will have a different play role as a tanker, DPS, mage, and healer. We need to always focus on the character bonding to each other and it will unlock the status bonuses. Best gacha for Android. Breathing Blade Destiny. This new gacha idle game is adapted by one of the most popular anime series, which is Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. The game's background is about a war between demon hunters against the demon. It has a very attractive visual effect, especially when we launch the ultimate skill. The sharpnesses and how the skill effect looks so on point and details. Before the combat start, we should make a preparation especially to pick the best energy based on the elements heroes like the water, fire, thunder, and spirit. We should always make a combination team to trigger a certain effect like the buff team, combos, and also a turn effect. Once the ultimate skill animation runs, then we can enjoy a lot of animation visual. Even the cutscene will always show up with a nice 3D graphic and supported with a voiceover. It will give a deep experience on the story mode. At the end, we can fight against the other player in the PvP arena to fight over the leaderboard rank. By the way, we will have a lot of free SSR heroes and each one of the best no pay to win gacha game mobile. Three Kingdoms Fantasyland 2 Song of Ambition. This is a new gacha game that will represent Chinese culture but come in an anime art style. The story is inspired by the Three Kingdoms but blend with the fantasy artwork. Will become a strategist or a master who's able to manage and lead the hero from three main factions and make them united. With an idle and AFK progression, it will help the player to stay focused on the preparation menu as the main concern. We should make a hero's lineup based on the bonds that will give an attribute buff. Speed up the battle is possible while the heroes do an auto battle. All of the heroes will release their skill based on their initiative. But we should place the right hero on their own specialty like on back lane or on the front lane. The gacha rate is not quite high though, but surely we will get a free SSR hero or a legendary hero at the beginning. It will help the player to clear the earliest game much faster. Overall, I love the game's visual, looks so different and interesting. Holy Grail returns. This new gacha game mobile is come with a pretty strong on delivering about what the Fate Stay Night anime looks like. That's why we'll find a legendary character like the Saber, Leaf Lissel, and also Gilgamesh. It's full of auto combat games with an idle features, which is it has an AFK progression. With a turn-based concept, the player doesn't need to make an initiative to touch any button, while the character will attack them first based on the speed status they have. In team management, we should always combine the element faction and also their status and also the team's buff. Overall, the hero's ultimate skill will show us how iconic their special movement is. I would say it has a fair and balanced gacha rate. The developer especially did so much help to us by giving a free ticket from the achievement point. Develop your hero through the level, gearing up the best equipment and also the awakened base. Once you are ready enough, then try the PvP mode against across the server. Reliant NPC Survival. This game is one of my favorite idle games so far. I don't have to control the character because the team will keep moving forward and slash any enemy that just stand in front of us. The world is going to be apocalypse. because the strange creator just came to do an invasion. The game's visual is absolutely top tier with a AAA tier. Every single wave that we pass through will be defended by a monster, and at the end of the stages then we'll face a huge boss monster with a high dexterity and also a lot of health points. So the best way to slay the boss is by strengthening the hero's power frequently. Unfortunately, the gacha rate is not really their main concern because I have tried so many pulls to get a legendary one, but it was nothing. I just got one from the first time I played. Hopefully the developer will increase the gacha rate. Seven Knights Rebirth. This game is an official remake from one of the most legendary anime gacha games on mobile, and it got so much update and enhancement. With an Unreal Engine 5, it just made the game visual even more magnificent. The hero's visual effect and skill animation is one of the best gacha games I have ever seen. I would say no game can stand against Seven Knights Rebirth if we compare it by the animation. The developer behind this game are really active in giving the players free rewards every time they do a maintenance, which is pretty fair for the player who's been waiting for the frequent update. The game's combat mechanisms are full of autoplay, but we can manage the skill based on the timing to make a counter and win the game. The developer is confirmed to make it become a PvP game as their main focus. No wonder a lot of PvP features we can play like the arena, guild versus guild, advanced arena where the player will fight against the player in a real time. Legend of Kingdoms IDLE RPG is a new brand idle game with a Chinese game's background by the visualization, the character design, and also how the storyline looks like. The storyline is about a Legend of Kingdoms classic, where the king is trying to conquer the authorization. It has an idle or AFK gameplay. But of course, a deep strategy will make a huge difference, especially when we do a management hero. The automatic concept will run based on the hero's speed and how much energy they have. The first priority is going to the heroes who's reached the energy gauge meter first. We need to place the similar faction within a team to give an extra attack and HP buff in a significant number. Lost Realm Chrono Reef. I would say this game has a very aesthetic visual and probably one of the most attractive visual looks. The game's storyline is about a time traveler who's looking for a different dimension. This game has a 3D anime fantasy ambience that will perfectly play in a real-time action game. It will run so dynamic with a tactic movement. We'll always need to manage the hero's position into a different area, either in the front lane or back lane. As the master, we need to understand the hero's passive skill to make an immune to the crowd control or make a counter based on this strategy. Some buff effect will be so important to slow down the enemy's attack, like the stun, freeze, or even silence. Epic 7. I think everyone agree with me if this game will become one of the best gacha game idle on mobile, even though the game has been exist for more than a decade. But I would like to put it on this list because the main reason is the developer is really active in updating the game frequently. Even they always make an interesting event and collaboration within any anime series. I would say this game is one of the most popular turn-based RPG games on mobile that still lasts long until now. It's because the visual effect skill is just magnificent and can be compared within the other game gacha we know on mobile nowadays. Even if you can play the game on any phone's specification level, I would give you a guarantee if the game runs on the highest setting so smoothly and running well. Best autoplay AFK RPG game for mobile. Outer Plane. This game has one of the highest game size on mobile, so if you really want to experience a high quality game gacha, I would straight to the point about it. The visual is just impressive. I would say it has the same level as the Seven Knights Rebirth. It has a good combination era of the fantasy world and also the futuristic technology. Even though it's an idle game, but the games represent a deep storyline full of anime cutscenes we will see along the conversation. A lot of themes concept can be enjoyed, the revenge, politic between the kingdoms, and also about ancient technology. The game's combat mechanism is a turn-based strategy game. Make a party up to 4 heroes and we should try to make a balanced role by picking a different role of the support, healer, tanker, and also DPS. There is a chain attack skill that will let the team make an extra attack if we understand how the pattern works. We should try to deal the best skill to break the enemy's defense and it will significantly boost the damage number. Soul and Time Reverse. This game's title is really popular on the Chinese player, where the game is adapted from the Soul Land or Dou Liu Dalu series, which is the character and also the iconic hero will be so familiar for you. The gameplay has a combination of some RPG elements like the real-time combat that will run in a dynamic pace. We should collect some character with a different spirit bone, explore a lot of daily features and also clear a variety of dungeons, and participate in the PvP arena and also Guild War. The game has a lot of positive side, like the anime graphic are really attractive and enjoyable to see, and it's quite newbie friendly because the game's level is quite easy to play. Silver and Blood. This is one of my favorite dark fantasy RPG that represents a nice anime visual. It has a vampire concept where all of the visuals seem so aesthetic with the white, black and red color. If you love to play a character with a gothic appearance, then you should download and play it now. The game's storyline is quite dark and full of politic intricate. The gameplay needs a lot of strategy by picking your best of favorite hero based on the quality or tier. By the way, the game is no pay to win. A lot of SSR heroes will we get so easily through the summoning. With a higher gacha rate base, I got up to 5 legendary heroes now and I'm a free to play player. Remember to like this video and see you on the next list. Thanks.